particular, you're kind of looked at as one of those players that can really break out in your second season, just based on what we saw through the offseason, here early in camp. Was that the impression the coaching staff has given you, and is that what you expect for yourself?
It's really just a matter of opportunity. We've got a young tight end room, with the releasing of Gary. It's been different without him, but there's been a lot of opportunity for guys like me to step up and take that role, or at least a big portion of that role. I feel that I'm ready to do it. I felt like moving on from last year that I still had a lot to show that I'm capable of, and I'm starting to have the opportunity now to show what I can do. So that's just what I'm coming out here to do each day.
We talked to you. He says you're an emerging player. What does that mean?
Gosh, it means that I'm headed in the right direction. That's for sure. It means that I'm able now to be out here and practicing every day and stacking days and reps on top of each other, which is really how you get better. Football is a game of repetition, and that's how you get better at it. The more I can be in the system under his coaching, out here practicing what we're installing, the better I'm going to get. So,
what was it that the coaches told you, setting aside the health thing, but what was it that they told you going into the offseason that you needed to work on so that you could take that next big step, and what did you work on?
Yeah, sometimes it's telling you what to do and what not to do. The NFL season is different than college ever can be. It's longer, it's harder, it's more competitive, and sometimes you can't do too much with your body. You have to train smart. You have to train very specific to what you have to do out here, and you have to take good care of yourself. You have to do a lot of modalities to keep yourself healthy. So I think I've actually changed what I'm doing from a training standpoint in the off season and in our downtime in the in season to keep myself, healthy and able to be out here every day and doing what I'm doing. That's the biggest difference. Me having the time to just practice, just to play, and that's where improvement comes.
Some people consider the tight end position the most brutal in the NFL. Did you get a taste of that last year, and how different was it than playing in the Ivy League?
Yeah, the tight ends are asked to do a lot. Mentally, we're maybe second or third behind the quarterback and center in terms of what we need to know. We need to know all the protections, all the pass game, all the run game. Sometimes you got to block, hand in the ground, 4-3 defensive ends. You got to be able to run routes on corners. So you gotta be big and fast and agile, and it's definitely a niche position, and there is a lot to learn, for sure.
Physically, was it more demanding than you expected at this level?
It was probably. I knew it was going to be more demanding than what I've ever experienced. I think it was probably right there where I expected. It's definitely, NFL is a physical league. It's something that somebody like me coming from Ivy League certainly had to adjust to. Yeah.
Do you take note of how many elite tight ends in this league miss games because of injuries? Gronkowski, Jimmy Graham, all the way down the list.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, is that a example of what you guys go through? They can't all be unlucky.
Yeah, I think it is. It's an interesting a point you bring up. I think these are big guys that are asked to do what small wide receiver type guys do at a lot of times, and it puts a lot of stress on your body. And that's why you got to take good care of yourself so you can maximize your opportunity out there.
You don't run too many sideline runs either, do you?
Well, at times we do. So that's the
run
point
out
there.
of bounds every now and then.
That's true.
Running in the middle.
Well, that's true. Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
And what you were in Joko's position a year ago. How much have you tried to help him get through these first early weeks, and what do you think he's doing so far?
Yeah, I think he's doing a great job. There's a lot to learn in the offense, especially like we just said at the tight end position. There's a lot that the tight ends have to know. He's mentally handled it pretty well. from my point of view. And I think he's made some plays out there. I think he's ready to help us. And I'm excited about what the tight end room can do this year.
There was some talk this weekend that he was pressing, lost the ball a couple times, which was uncharacteristic for him. Do you see that in him pressing?
Well, he's going through that adjustment period right now. Where guys are violently stripping the ball at all times, or attempting to strip the ball, and where guys are hitting you at the catch point, and he's doing fine. I mean, that happens whether you're first round pick or free agent. He's fine. I think he's doing just fine.
Hugh has talked a lot about using two tight end sets this year. From your standpoint, is it tough to walk the line between viewing somebody as competition who wants to get those first team reps, and then also supporting a young guy who you have those shared experiences with?
Yeah, that's the NFL in a lot of ways. Is you're friends and competitors at the same time. In our situation, there's room to be had at the tight end position in today's game, where there's not just one guy in the field at one time. Also, with some of the things we've already just talked about, the tight end is a demanding position that you can't necessarily take every snap like a quarterback can. So, we're helping each other get better because we know that we're all going to be needed at some point in time, and a lot of times at the same time. So,
after you got in games last year, do you recall one moment where you got hit worse than you've ever felt before, or did you escape that?
Probably on a kickoff return. That can be a high collision experience, because you are backpedaling and stopping to work back downfield at some guys running full speed right at you, and then guys at this level are big and fast, and those are probably some of the biggest collisions I took last year.
Anything running routes you recall?
Maybe that one against San Diego over the middle. That was more of an awkward fall than it was a big hit, but I felt that one.
At least it was in the wind.
Yeah.